cupramine. It's an active copper disease remedy for ick. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this over a 14 to 16 day period to clear up a outbreak of ick in my marine fish only tank. It can't be used in a reef tank because it's copper. Copper will kill any kind of invertebrates that you've got in there. Shrimp, crabs, snails, starfish, anything like that, it will kill straight away. So you don't want to use it in a reef tank. It can only be used in a fish only. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this in my main display tank. I've done it before, about a year and a half ago. We had an outbreak of ick. I left all the rock in place, is exactly what I'm going to do this time. Everything stayed in place with the fish. Like I say, this is a fish only. All the rock, some of the cupramine will be absorbed into the rock. But what I do is I check the cupramine and the copper levels daily. I start in the morning, check it, and then in late afternoon I check it again. And what I use is a Hanna high range copper tester. Works fantastic. I have no problems with it. I used this a year and a half ago when I done the ick and cured the fish, no problem. So again, they've got an outbreak of ick. I'm not really sure how they got an outbreak of ick. The only thing I can put it down to is the Regal tangs. Any changes to their environment and they seem to get it quite easily. The only thing that's really different is I've added a clown tang. There he is. The clown tang don't seem to have ick, only the Regal tangs. I think it's because something's changed. They just decide they're gonna have an outbreak of ick. But the cupramine is very good at killing the ick, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video each day for the next 14 to 16 days so you can see how I get on. Now I've put the first dose in this morning and it's 0.32. Now what it needs to be is 0.50, so 0.50 with the Hanna reader. So each day I'm going to make sure that it stays at the 0.50, so any copper that's absorbed into the rock, I will then add more copper each day to keep the water containing 0.50 each day until this ick is cleared up. Now some fish are sensitive to ick, so that's why it's only 0.32 this morning. That's how much I've put in so far. Tomorrow I will make it up to the 0.50 and then I will keep it at 0.50 for the next 14 to 16 days. And over that period the fish will just get better. That's the plan. I mean, like I say, I've done it before, so doing it again, I just thought I'd document it this time so that people can actually see that you can do it in your main display without killing off all the bacteria in your live rock. But it is only possible if it's a fish only tank. No invertebrates at all, no hermit crabs, no starfish, no nothing, because the cupramine will kill that straight away. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't kill the beneficial bacteria in your live rock. So rather than having ammonia spikes and stuff like that when you're trying to do it without the live rock and you're just trying to do it in a separate fish tank where you keep dosing the copper each day and doing water changes and all that kind of stuff. See, now that's not something I want to do. The fish are staying in this tank. It's a lot of stress for the fish to catch them all, to move them all to another tank, and then you've got to, after you've treated them for ick, you've got to catch them all again and move them back to the main display tank. So I find it much better for the fish and for me to leave everything in place and just treat in the main display tank. Now this tank did have some starfish and sea urchins in there, but I've removed them. I knew exactly what's in there: 3 starfish, 3 sea urchins and 2 hermit crabs. So all of them have been removed and they've been put in their own little tank. They're staying in their own little tank. Whether they go back in here or not at a later date, I don't know. I'll have to see. Once the ick is completely cured and the copper has been removed. Now the last time I've done this with cupramine and treated the fish and got rid of the ick, like I say, it was a year and a half ago. I used activated carbon to get rid of the copper out of there, and since doing that I've had invertebrates back in there. So probably about 6 months after doing the last thing, I put in starfish and the hermit crabs and the sea urchins, and they've all been absolutely fine. It's just making sure that before you put anything back in there that you've got all the copper out, because it can leach out of the rocks. It leaches into the rocks when you're adding it in the first place. So you've got to check your copper levels often to make sure that you've got the 0.50. And it's important to make sure that you get rid of all the copper before you try add any corals or any invertebrates back into the tank. I mean, this tank is just my fish only tank anyway, so I don't even need to put anything back in this tank, because I have a reef tank on the other side of the room which has all my corals and invertebrates and also fish that doesn't have white spot. Now the other thing is to make sure that no water from this tank can go into my reef tank, because obviously if you get the two waters mixed, then you're moving the ick from one tank to another. Then in the reef tank, they'll all come out with ick. Now I do have a 80 watt UV on this tank, but even with the 80 watt UV, they've come out in ick. So like I say, I could leave it and let them fight the ick, but I prefer just to remove the ick completely, because for the last year and a half there has been no ick whatsoever in the tank. The fish just grow so much better, and obviously the fish are so much happier when there's no ick at all in the water. And the cupramine is a great additive to get rid of that ick. It definitely kills the ick, because like I say, I've used it before and I use it again, but I will document it day by day as I go, and then you'll see exactly how I get along with it and how the fish do after the 14 to 16 days. I didn't lose any of these fish last time I used the cupramine, and I had it at 0.50, checking it a couple of times a day, which is what I'm going to be doing now, and just literally keep it at 0.50 and the ick should be gone within the 14 days. Right, so if you enjoyed the video and you want to follow it, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next one.